Welcome to the Lions Tares Ministry. This is Reverend Liz Jackson. Today's sermon is Education and True Word of Yah, Book of Jubilees. Noah divides the land after the flood, part 4, Japheth's territory. I have been talking literally all day. I run podcasts on the ministry. I minister to my daughters. I just published all the Noah divides the land series after the flood within a couple hours and whatnot of each other. So if I sound hoarse and I cough, I want to apologize because I notice that my throat is getting dry. But I want all of this published at once. So if you want a continuous study and to vet these things on your own and to look at historical information, you are able to do that without having to wait for me to upload the information. Again, this is a free ministry, and all information at the end of this post from whatever I've taken off the internet will be provided for links and protection of copyright and whatever, because I don't look to make money off of this. My goal and purpose in life as the angel of Ephesus is to deliver the message Abba Yah has told me to write to you. And that is trying to restore the true word of Abba Yah. And in this case, we're using the Book of Jubilees. So, to recap, Japheth's territory is the north and cold weather. Shem's is the middle of the earth, blended weather. Ham's is the south and hot weather. Shem's portion of the earth consisted of, and still does today, China, India, Philippines, Japan, but not the Sinai Peninsula. Russia, but not what is on the other side of the Ural Mountains dividing Europe. The Europe side is Japheth and contains Moscow, or better known as the land of Magog. Shem's territory also includes all of Eden, which has been labeled and changed to hide your identity as the North Pole. Shem's portion also consists of the Red Sea, which is Iran, Iraq, and the Medes. Ham's territories: the Mediterranean Sea and its islands only, Africa and the Sinai Peninsula, South America, Latin America, Caribbean islands, Australia and Indonesia and all its islands, and anywhere else I forgot to name that is hot. Now, let us move right along to Japheth's territory, which is the rest of what hasn't been discussed. I will discuss the land division between Japheth and his son Magog, because these lands are identified in all of prophecy as the land of Gog and Magog. We covered how Canaan took Sham's land, also known as the Promised Land, Lebanon, not present-day Lebanon as it's drawn on your map, but that whole coast that includes Israel and Jordan and Lebanon. Canaan was cursed, not once but twice, by breaking his vow he made in front of Noah and Abba Yah. He didn't want his inheritance, which was the islands of the Mediterranean Sea. And for more information on that, please read part 3 or watch part 3's video. As a reminder, because Abba Yah pointed this out to me, after I published parts 1 through 3, the maps are to be read like you would Hebrew and other languages, from left to right, or east to west. Thus, he had me flip some of the maps. Again, I took a screenshot of the God Cultures video on my phone when I was watching it about 2 years ago, and chose to use their wonderful drawn-out lay of the land. The green indicates Japheth's territory, the gold and yellow is Shem's, and the purple is Ham's. Jubilees 8:25 through 29. And for Japheth came forth the third portion beyond the river Tina to the north of the outflow of its waters. And it turns northeasterly to the whole region of Gog, and to all the country east thereof. And it extends northerly to the north, and it extends to the mountains of Quelt towards the north, and towards the sea of Ma'uk, and it goes forth to the east of Gadir, as far as the region of the waters of the sea. And it extends until it approaches the west of Farah, and it returns towards Aphrag, and it extends easterly to the waters of the sea of Miat. And its boundary, and it extends to the region of the river Tina in a northeasterly direction until it approaches the boundary of its waters towards the mountain Rapha, and it turns round towards the north. This is the land which came forth for Japheth and his sons as the portion of his inheritance, which he should possess for himself and his sons, for their generations forever, 5 great islands and a great land in the north. Now again, here we go back to our Mercator map, where this is the actual view of the earth as seen from Abba Yah above. Your United Nations again uses the same exact map, and the areas in red on the map are the actual time divisions and not your time zones that were created in the 1800s. Abba Yah said flipping the map was needed, so I did, and this does actually give a better visual as to how Jubilees describes the land division. Isaiah states, 29:16 through 18, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. Is it not yet a little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. We covered how Lebanon can be turned into a fruitful field if everyone would stop fighting and give it to the rightful owners, because Canaan stole it. Let's get started. Beyond the river Tina to the north of the outflow of its waters, rising in the Valdi Hills northwest of Moscow, the Volga discharges into the Caspian Sea, some 2,193 miles to the south. Again, south of the Caspian Sea is Shem's territory. Remember, when you look at these maps, you are viewing from the center of the earth, aka the North Pole, or again, from the heights of Abba Yah's eyes. Eden and moving from Eden to these regions. If you look at them as they lay, the directions will not make sense. This map has the dividing lines highlighted, and you must remember, looking at the map, you read again from left to right, just like you would Hebrew. Shem's territory is the darker portion of Russia, while, as you will learn in this sermon, Japheth includes the lighter color, which contains Moscow. Again, we read the maps from left to right or east to west. Mountain range of Rapha. Again, the modern-day Ural Mountains. From the Latin Raphi, Monets, Raphine Mountains, the name sometimes used by ancient geographers for the Ural Mountains. The Raphine was identified by the Soviet geologist N.S. Shatsky in the southern Urals in 1945. The Ural Mountains, or simply the Urals, are a mountain range that runs approximately from north to south through western Russia, from the coast of the Arctic Ocean to the river Ural and northwestern Kazakhstan. The mountain range forms parts of the conventional boundary between the continents of Europe and Asia. Genesis 10:3 states, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Tomar, which is where the Ural Mountains gets its name from Japheth, which is Shem's nephew. The river Tina, Don, Volga rivers, the Genesis Apocryphon of Qumran cave again, as seen in the second portion of Noah's Land of Vision, again, written by Joseph A. Fitzmyer, who is a Jesuit. Again, Jesuits and principalities know the truth, as he wrote in his book. Again, Roman Catholics aren't going to know this information because the Roman Catholic Church does not want you to know who you are. So the Tina River is the Tanis, also known as the Don and Volga River. And it extends northeasterly to the whole region of Gog and to all the country east thereof. Gog is Hebrew word 1463, and it's of an uncertain derivation. Gog, the name of an Israelite, also of some northern nation. Well, let's look at what 1 Chronicles 5:4 says. The son of Joel, Shemiah, his son, Gog, his son, Shemi, his son. Joel is a prophet and the son of Pethuel. It's important to know that just because someone is brought up in the words of Abba Yah doesn't mean that they stay there. A prime example is Solomon. You can read about King Solomon in 1 Kings chapter 11 and how he went a-whoring after his 700 concubines and women that led him astray. I also wouldn't doubt that Joel, who was called by Abba Yah, taught his sons concerning Yah, who called him, for his prophet. Common sense says God left the faith, his father tried teaching, and became lawless. We all have a choice, folks. We can follow the ways of the world and condemn ourselves under the law of sin and death, or we can follow Abba Yah and enjoy the law of righteousness and life, also known as the true word of Yah. So, the lexicon, again, I use the blueletterbible.org, has Gog, a prince of the land of Magog. So that's important. In order to find where this land is, we must jump ahead to Jubilees 9. Every word of Abba Yah's matters. Every definition, every usage, every sense. If it says literal, it means literal. If it means or says figurative, it means figurative. If it's used as a transitive word, it's a transitive word. If it's an intransitive verb or word usage, it's an intransitive word or verb usage. You can't go making up things just because you don't understand. That's what dictionaries are for. Jubilees 9:8. And the first portion came forth for Gomer to the east from the north side of the river Tina. And in the north there came forth for Magog, all the inner portions of the north until it reaches to the Sea of Miat. As we discussed in part 2, the Sea of Miat is the Sea of Azov, again pictured right here. The Sea of Azov empties into the Black Sea. The land of Gog is the portion that extends from the river Tina into the east. This includes modern-day Russia, where the capital is currently, as well as St. Petersburg. Now, back to Japheth. And it extends northly to the north, and it extends to the mountains of Quelt towards the north. The mountains of Quelt, again, extremely hard to find, but they are the Scandinavian mountains. And Abba Yah told me, because I pay attention to my English lessons, to look up the etymology of kilt. Quelt, because they added a Q, again to hide your identity, is from Middle English verb kilten, meaning to tuck up, and it's from a Scandinavian source. So that's as close to Celt as I could find in my research. So here's a 1616 map of Scandinavia by Frederick de Witt. As you can see, there are many mountain ranges and fits the description because Europe, Britain, North America, and Canada are the only parts of the world left. And it extends towards the Sea of Mauk, and it goes forth to the east of Gadir, as far as the region of the waters of the sea. So here we are moving east from Spain. Again, Encyclopedia confirms that Gadir was a name of Spain, and not just its little island, but that whole area of Spain and Portugal. All the land that is hot belongs to Ham. Next, we move east in our direction, west if you're looking at the map, straight forward, and that brings us to the west coast of Europe, and as far as the ocean, brings us to North America. And it extends until it approaches the west of Farah. Farah is America. Farah, when placed into Google, comes back as free. Well, I was taught, and I live in America, and it's totally not free anymore, but I was taught that America is the land of the free. And it's, as pictured when I did my Google search, a Roman or Romanian dialect. But either or, it still means free. Next, we move to Farah, meaning an Old High German, and that's a traveler. Immigrants come all the time from all over the world to America. But let's hit this home, folks. Farah is a gender of a girl's name, and it means beautiful or delightful. It's an Arabic origin. A lot older than your Romanian and your German, so that's a good thing. And again, beautiful or delightful. Well, I remember when I was in elementary school, I was taught America the Beautiful, you know, that song that we have to sing to pay homage to and pledge allegiance to America and start our indoctrination in elementary school with the song. At least it proved useful, and it means beautiful or delightful. And it returns towards Afrag, and it extends easterly to the waters of the Sea of Miat. Now we're circling back to the beginning. Again, the Sea of Miat is the Sea of Azov, as described in the chapter in Handbook of Environmental Chemistry, Volume 5, Water Pollution, published in October of 2007. And it states the Sea of Azov had many different names. Ancient Greeks called it Meotin Lagoon, Meotin Lake, while Romans referred to it as Palos Meotis. And of course, Afrag is Africa. And it extends to the region of the River Tina in a northeasterly direction until it approaches the boundary of its waters towards the mountain Rafa, and it turns round towards the north. So again, that's including all of Europe. So we end back at the beginning at the Don and Volga rivers in the Rafa or Ural Mountains. How do we know we're finished? Where's the rest of the land's description? Okay, so we're not quite finished. And here's some mind-blowing information for you folks, if your mind hasn't been blown already by a simple book called Jubilees that was taken away for this very reason, to hide your identity. This is an identity theft of the whole entire world. Jubilees 8:29. This is the land which came forth for Japheth and his sons as a portion of his inheritance, which he should possess for himself and his sons, for their generations forever. 5 great islands and an island, or a great land in the north. Well, we're going to break down and identify these islands. According to the Atlas, Greenland is the largest island in the world and only misses out on being a continent because of the population. Here's a map of old Greenland. As you can see, there's a little part of North America. There's Iceland. Next, we go to Baffin Island. Again, according to the World Atlas, Baffin Island is another Arctic island that is known for its big size. It belongs to Canada and the Nunavut territory in the northern part of the country. The island has a total square area of 194,574 square miles, which makes it one of the largest islands in the world. Victoria Island is a large island in the Arctic archipelago that straddles the boundary between Nunavut and the Northwest Territories of Canada. It is the 8th largest island in the world, and at 217,291 kilometers squared in area, it is Canada's 2nd largest island. The British Islands listed as 9th largest island in the world. The British Islands are a group of islands in North Atlantic off the northern western coast of continental Europe, consisting of the islands of Great Britain, Ireland, the Isle of Man, and the Hebrides, and over 6,000 smaller islands. They have a total area of about 315,159 kilometers squared and a combined population of almost 72 million people. Next, we move to Ellesmere Island, which has an area of 183,965 kilometers squared and has a total population of 146. It's located in Canada or North America. Like Victoria Island, Ellesmere also lies entirely within the Arctic Circle. Only 146 people live here. And the Great Land in the north leaves us with Canada and the United States, which are a part of North America. So my prayer for all of us is, Abba Yah, I pray that your voice is heard throughout the world and that people come to understand that when our hearts and minds are negative, our actions will be negative. People cause such destruction and confusion when we hate each other because we judge by the color of one's skin. You, Abba Yah, say we perish for lack of knowledge, as in Hosea 4:6. So here we are, you and I, teaching them the truth. And I pray, Abba Yah, I pray that they listen and that they can see what you have so graciously shown me and the God culture. And I pray, Abba Yah, and thank you for sending me to the God culture, because I would not possibly have known this, although I know you would have shown it to me in another form. But I am just your vessel, Abba, and I will do your will, your way, always, regardless of what people say or think. I pray that all of us can learn that your word has been preserved for this generation to finally know who you are, to answer questions that we all have, to finally see that you have a master plan. You've had a master plan from the beginning, and that was once hidden from us, but now is being revealed. I pray that we, as your people, can start acting like your people and love and trust in you, as your return is very, very soon. I pray you bless and keep all who choose to listen and follow your words as you continue to reveal more to us all. You, Abba Yah, have shown us that yes, we are one, all descendants from you and all descendants from Noah, who found righteousness in your eyes. I pray that my brothers and sisters come to see you for who you really are, our one true creator. In Yahushua HaMashiach I pray. Amen, amen, amen. Selah, Selah. Now, it's important to understand that the book of Jubilees was taken away from us for this very reason. The world doesn't want you to know who you are. The world doesn't want unity and peace. The world, the way it is now, enjoys chaos and destruction and belittling and oppression. And it is up to us to revive the true word of Abba Yah together as one body under Yah. His return is imminent and closer than anyone else knows. I don't know when he's coming back. He says no one knows the date or time. For the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. Do you want to be a victim caught unaware that a thief in the night has come and stole those around you that have prepared? Do you want to be like those not so wise virgins and have not enough oil in your lamps? Sin's a choice, my brothers and sisters. Disobedience is sin, and disobedience is a choice. We can choose to continue to tell each other that because of skin pigmentation known as melanin is the dividing line, and that nobody else is better because they lack pigments or have too many pigments showing. When we choose to hate people based on the color of skin, we are hating our Creator, Abba Yah. And that's really what Isaiah was talking about. Abba Yah says, until the fullness of the Gentiles. Gentiles in Hebrew means a Hebrew heathen nation, not worshiping the Lord God Almighty. And I included Hebrew in that because we are all from Adam, created in the image of Abba Yah. So, as Abba Yah said, I will go and find my one lost sheep and leave the rest of the herd who I know are okay behind in order to make sure that one lost sheep finds its way home. There's many lost sheep out here, and it's due to the principalities and rulers and wickedness in high places. We can choose to remain indoctrinated, or we can choose to seek, ask, and knock on Abba Yah's door for answers. You can remain confined to the law of sin and death, or you can set yourself free under the law of the Spirit of life, which is the true word of Abba Yah.